Hi, I'm Brett Jennings, and for the last 12 years, I've traveled the country to meet, mentor, and mastermind with some of the brightest and best minds both inside and outside of real estate. I've taken those ideas, brought them back to our team of experts, and sold hundreds of homes per year all across Silicon Valley, and this is how we do it. Brett Jennings with Real Estate Experts here next in our Expert on Fire interview series. I'm joined today by Haleem, Ballou, and Elva Robledo. Now, Haleem has not only done some amazing things and tripled your business this year, but you broke a major milestone that many agents strive to achieve, and that is $1 million in gross commissions. So congratulations on that. But I'm sure most people are wondering, how do you do something like this where you triple your business in a year? And so not only that, you've gone and you've helped several other agents along the way, whether they were their first or second year in business coming along on your team. So we're going to get into that. And so Haleem, Elva, welcome to the call.
Of course, thanks for having us.
Yeah. So I'm sure everyone, listening, as they hear this story, want to know a little bit more about your background and story and how you got into real estate. So tell us a little bit, how long you've been in the business?
Definitely. So straight out of college, I've been in the business for 5 years. But straight out of college, I went into real estate in 2017 and started at KW. And then for the first 2 years, I was a KW, third year Compass, fourth year transfer over to Real Estate Experts.
Okay. And when did you know, or did you know right out of the gate, like when you first got into real estate, that this is it, man? I know I can do real estate. This is it for me because I can tell that I'm good at this. Or was that your experience, or was there
that was my experience before college even started?
Okay.
I was doing college for the family and then completed it, and then off to the charts I went.
Okay, awesome. So right out of college, which for most people, real estate is a plan B. Most people come to real estate and as a real estate sales as a second career. They try their hand at something else and either unsatisfied with what they're doing or unsuccessful. And, everybody sees what looks so cool on shows like $1 Million Listing. And they're like, hey, let's try my hand at real estate. But what about you, Elva? What was your path into real estate now on the sales side?
It's actually when we talk about plan Bs, right? So it's been a really interesting journey because I started working on the back end, working also with Keller Williams, which is where me and Haleem met. And so back when we met, I noticed his passion. He knew exactly what he was aiming for, right? And I loved working on the back end, watching agents grow, being able to kind of help them on that end. And so when I got my license about 1.5 years ago, and Haleem and I continued to talk about it, we saw that joining forces, we would be able to not only use his passion and his drive, but also, with the skill sets that I had learned, kind of join forces and scale his business and scale our business now together.
Awesome. Well, I think, as we're kind of unpacking what some of the things you just said there about Haleem, right? People are wondering, how do you do this? Like, how do you triple your business in a year? But I think that the foundational elements were there, and what you just said, you noticed because you were working in the Keller Williams in the environment as an administrative person, right? In that office, you saw the spectrum of agents, but there was something about Haleem with his passion, you said, his passion, his focus, and he knew where he wanted to go. So I think, mindset is, as I coach, mentor, and guide agents to higher levels of production, mindset's the most important thing. And it sounds like, that was one of the key things that got you off to the right start. So, Haleem, tell us a little bit about, your journey. You mentioned, you first got in the business, your first year, you had a really great year for your first year as an agent, 17 transactions. But then 2018 was about 20 transactions. So just an incremental bump there. Right. 2019, 2020, you were still right around that, 20. I think you said in 2020, you did 24 transactions.
Right.
But then a huge bump, right? You went from 24 transactions to 66 transactions, also increased your price point. So by sales volume, you more than tripled. I like to say, your success in real estate, whether for anyone, the growth of your business is inside of you, not outside of you. And your success is attributed to not only what you're doing, but what you're thinking. What, tell us a little bit about how your mindset changed when you went from this 20 to 60 deals. Was it just focusing on bigger numbers? Was it expanding your focus on a team? Or what was it?
So I like to ride waves, and my first 3 waves, after doing a lot of research, I learned I'm gonna have to build a database. And so my first 3 years, I focused on open house leads, online leads, any lead generation software I could do. And I did a lot of trial and errors, lost a lot of money, made a lot of money. It all came down to big investments where you take a lot of risks. And by the 4th year, where it came down to, I've closed all these deals. Now I'm focusing on my SOI, my database, to where I start targeting all those people rather than focusing on my online leads at that stage.
Got it. All right. Got it. So it took a focus first, like really building your database. You were super focused on the lead generation the first years, and then this last year. What did you add in regards to lead generation that also helped push you to that level? Because it sounds like you not only just kept that same focus, but you started doing things differently.
Just kept on seeing more and more potential in the strategy I was using, and just Elva would help me trigger different points where I'd see where I could correct issues, and then we'd focus on the growth. So that's what the next thing strategy we were focusing on.
I think most importantly, one of the things where we align not only as a partnership, but also with real estate experts, is that we are action driven. So a lot of, companies out there, individuals out there, they have an idea or they make a decision without any action backing that up. And a decision is not a decision without actions. And so that's one of the things where every time that we sat down and figured out, okay, there's all these different avenues, there's all these different ideas, there's all these different companies, right? Which one is going to be aligned with the fact that, okay, this is going to get us where we want, and it's aligning with the way that we like to conduct ourselves, and now the team, right? Whenever we're looking at any potential team members joining, they have to be action driven. And that's one of the things that I think has made the biggest difference in getting us from implementing an idea to actually seeing the results of it. Action.
Yeah, that's so true. One of my mentors, Tony Robbins, I think I like the way he says it. He says, wealth exists in the gap between ideas and their implementation. And so getting out and taking action on those things, that's the thing with a real estate agent, right? You're getting pinged from so many different sides. Do this strategy, go call expireds, but really honing in on those things. So as we talk about lead generation, what typically are like your top 3 lead sources that you're finding or helping grow and drive your business at this stage where you are now?
At this stage right now, I mean, we do have the Flex, which you guys provide, which has been a huge resource for the team. We do have our Pond, which we focus on past leads that we brought in within our own group. And then we do have our SOI, where we do aggressive calling towards our sphere to constantly let them know we're in the business. We're still focusing on getting things done for their friends and family, and just constantly keeping that reminder out there.
Awesome. So Zillow Flex is one pillar for you guys. The second pillar, you said Pond, and I just want to be able to articulate for people listening so they understand what that is. Like you said, you spent the first 3 years investing a lot of money in online leads. You built up this pool or database of people who, some of them are ready to sell now, but as we know, as you've done this kind of marketing, most of them are, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road. So how big is that quote pond of that database that you and your team work?
We're close to about 7,500.
7,500. So when an agent comes into your team, they're not only working open house leads, getting some stuff from Zillow, working their sphere, but they have 7,000 leads that they can come into and start working as additional sources of business.
Correct. Got it. They are aware that, I mean, most of them are going to tell them to stop calling and so forth, but we just tell them to keep calling.
Yeah. No, because what we know is, this is what one of my mentors shared with me about the concept of a database, right? Unless someone is a forever apartment dweller, or they're homeless and live under a bridge, they will buy or sell real estate sometime in their lifetime or the end of their lifetime, right? So it's just a matter of staying in front of them, until they do. That's awesome. So Flex, the pond, and then what you're also talking about, sphere of influence.
Correct.
So you guys are staying engaged with your sphere of influence. So you're using a combination of the newsletters and things that the digital newsletters we provide,
Correct.
direct mail, and then what else are you guys doing to reach or touch your sphere of influence besides the newsletters and mail?
Calling, texting.
Calling. Got
Social
it.
media has also been something we've been targeting heavily this year specifically, where, before all of the success was, we were communicating it to our sphere of influence when we saw them, but now we're just putting it out there on social media and, being able to constantly see, have our family and friends seeing that, hey, wow, they're not only active, but they are, kicking some serious ass out there. They'll start reaching out to us and asking questions, right? And planting that seed that in the future, whenever, like you mentioned, everyone's going to either sell or buy at some point. It's just a matter of
some point.
Exactly.
Yeah. And staying in front of them in a relevant way where, you're persistent, but not annoying, right?
Exactly.
Correct.
Awesome. So we've talked about the mindset piece, and you having been growth minded, focused on where you want to go. We talked about the lead piece. But let's talk a little bit about the agent piece, because that's what I say. Like the three things you need to scale a business is, leads, support, and the support could be administrative staff, or you get to a certain point in your business and you want to add agents. Tell us a little bit, Haleem, about kind of what both your mindset, like what you believe about bringing someone in to help them, because I think you're actually an exceptional team leader. And as demonstrated by the results that your agents who've come to work with you and for you have produced. So I know, one guy, for example, Matt went, he was a struggling agent, only had done a deal or two before coming to you. His first year with you, he did 6 deals. And since we joined forces, he's now done 19 deals in just 1 year. So tell us a little bit about, what's your philosophy, or what's your approach with new agents that you feel has helped them? Because he's not the only one, right? You have another agent, Hollis.
Correct, Hollis.
Who was struggling on his own, and then came in and did 10 or 9 deals in less than a year here. So what are you doing that's helping these guys and gals go to the next level?
So first thing we really focus on is just really advising them to trust us. Because one thing is, a lot of people, they get into real estate and team leaders bring them on and they really don't do much for them. So when Elva and I sit down with these team members, we let them know that we're here to guide you the right way and trust us in the process, and they'll overcome. So when we brought Matt on originally, we started providing him leads, providing him open houses, and just showing him our processes. And that's one thing that he really thrived on, where he was a sponge, and he is always going to be a sponge where he keeps growing and growing. And he has that mindset like we do, where it's, if we have a challenge, there's a way to overcome it. There's no challenge that can't be overcome.
That's awesome. Well, that's definitely a limitless mindset. So that's part of it. And what I also see is that you take a vested interest in their success. Real estate, being a real estate team leader is not for everyone, because you can't be selfish. If someone thinks they're going to build a real estate team and just have these people work for you, and like, here's some leads, go sell a house and bring it back in, and I get a check and you get a check. That's not the way that works. No. So I noticed also that you've created, like, one of the things Elva talked about was, really being action oriented. You guys are getting out and making it happen. And what are you guys doing inside the team culture, as far as either habits, routines, things that you either do as a team together to drive more business? Because I think that's also unique. What are you guys doing?
So we do have our own satellite office from REX, where we're able to bring our team together. Everyone is set up in their own little bullpen. So we do call hours. We do aggressive call hours where we hold everyone accountable, and they hold us accountable as well. So it's just constant aggressive growth amongst each other.
Right.
That's awesome.
It's
so
leading by example too.
Yeah.
If you actually stop and look at the people on our team, Haleem has actually, without even realizing it, has made such a huge impact on all of us, because he's a risk taker, right? He's not really like, let me contemplate this and see if it works, right? He's like, no, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And if you actually look at, for example, myself or Matt that were on our team, we were doing something else, or kind of tugging back and forth between real estate and doing something else. But because we saw the commitment and the passion, like, wow, okay, if you really plug yourself into this and just go full force and not look back, you're going to make it. And if you look at that, right, Matt just left his job, right? He had been working for so long at Costco, but because he saw the drive, the commitment, and the results, once he gets like, oh, hell yeah, this is easy. What am I doing? Let's just go full force on this.
That's awesome. So that's another piece of it. You have the willingness to pour into people that I see, Haleem, which is great. You're selfless in that regard, which it takes to be a great leader. And then the second piece of this is you lead by example. Your passion, your commitment, your intensity that you bring to it, people can model and emulate and just surf your wake, so to speak, as you talked about riding waves. And the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack, as the old saying goes. And so that's pretty awesome. And I know you got some aggressive goals this year. So any last thoughts for, say someone who is an agent that's watching this, maybe they're doing 3 or 4 or 5 deals a year and they aspire to be like Matt and, bump to 15 or 20 deals, can they do that on their own? Is it easier to do it in a team? Or what advice would you give to somebody who's like, kind of at that 3 to 8 deals and they're just kind of stuck? What do you think?
Give us a call.
Give us a call. Yeah, definitely give us a call. I mean, we're always going to be there in the background to consider you, look at you, give you an option. But if you just want to do it on your own, we just say every path can be overcame. You could definitely achieve what you want as long as you set a goal. Yeah, you can hit hurdles, but there's always a way around it. Yeah.
I mean, I think in my experience, if someone's in that place, right, a team is an awesome place to go to the next level, and that's, I personally have the opportunity to be a solo agent my first year in the business, but I chose to go to a team so I can get more experience, and I found what I think is true for our overall business at Real Estate Experts is that environment is stronger than willpower. You put yourself in the room consistently with a bunch of winners and guess what? You're going to win. So it sounds like that's what your team members have done. And congrats to you. Congrats to, the team. And we look forward to seeing great things from you in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us for our session of Expert on Fire. And we'll look forward to seeing more great stuff ahead.
Definitely. Thank you.
Have a great one.